Good evening and welcome into the Season 14 premiere of Laker Connections, your home for all things Oswego State Laker sports. I'm your host, Brian Rudman, and I'm joined today by a special guest, Mike Gross. Mike, welcome to the show. Why don't you start us off with this week in Laker sports?
Yeah, and we will start the show as we always do this week in sports. Brian and I will recap this past week around the Laker universe and share our thoughts on each game. Brian, start us off from the wheelhouse.
Absolutely. Whiteout Part 2. Let's get it going. Let's take a look right now. Oswego State Lakers facing off with the Plattsburgh Cardinals. Take a look. Steven Kozakowski getting his first career playoff start in goal for the Lakers. Start off in the first. Zizic, he can't get it to go initially, but he's going to get his own rebound. Finds his man, Travis Broman, puts it away. 1-0 Lakers early in this one. Jump to the second. Plattsburgh trying to fight right back. Knocking at the door, but Kozakowski not letting him in. Glove save, flash in the leather. Still 1-0 Lakers, and they would roll from there. Jump to later in the period. Lakers on the power play. Novick, he's going to find Gillespie. He's feeding it down low to the captain, Zizic, who makes another great assist. Travis Broman nets his second of the game. Lakers keep on going. Derek Brown going to work in the corner. He's going to find the senior-to-senior connection right there. Joey Scorpio puts it home. Take another look at that one. An absolute snipe from the face-off dot. 3-0 Lakers. And now the icing on the cake. What better way to end the season at home for the Lakers? Josh Zizic, the captain, putting it home. 4-0 Lakers. Plattsburgh would get one back in the third, but it wouldn't be enough. Lakers win this one 4-1, advance to the SUNYAC final against Geneseo this Saturday. So the Lakers taking care of business on home ice. What did you think of their performance, Mike?
Well, it was the first time they beat Plattsburgh 3 times in a season since 1980. That's an impressive feat considering whiteout has been the biggest event here on campus, and the Lakers usually pull the victory out, but it was great second period play. They scored 3 goals, and Joey Scorpio got that goal in the second period. He got a nice senior setting there, but Brian, it was a little sloppy in the third period. It's got to be cleaned up before they go see Geneseo.
Yeah, you know, we talk about this all season long. It's kind of an unfortunate narrative that we talk about them not playing a full 60, but at the end of the day, they got the job done, and they were just the better team in this game. You look at them, they're faster, more experienced. They took advantage of a Plattsburgh team that's still young, and you look at that second line of Travis Broman, Josh Zizic, and Michael Gillespie. 3 goals came from that line. Broman had 2, Zizic had 1. Gillespie had 3 assists on the night. That's amazing. That's the exact production they need out of that line to get it done.
Well, 4 goals for the Lakers in that last one, but only 1 came in the women's hockey game this weekend against Morrisville State, and a 1-0 finish. It was their first time hosting a playoff game, and they won, so we'll take a look at that right now. Well, they were huddling before the game in prayer as they had their first New HL home game. And, well, they topped the Mustangs 1-0, but we're here on a power play. And now back on the other end of the ice, the Lakers have it. This is where the goal came. They moved it around, brought it back to center point. Philomena Teggart ripped one from the blue line, and Aaron Stewart got the tip in to the back of the net. And we'll go on a face-off here in the second period. And this one kind of skipped up over the netminder there, and it was tapped in by Grugan, but they're going to give that a no-goal call because they said it was a high stick, and you'll see another angle at it here. The stick definitely up above the head, and that was an issue sometimes for the Lakers. And we'll go back here again in the third period, an empty net as time winds down. Morrisville not able to put anything there between the pipes, and Rachel Farmer, what an outstanding game. She got that playoff shutout. She had 22 saves in the victory for the women. They will move on to face Plattsburgh next weekend in the New HL Championship.
Yeah, well, you look at this game, and the biggest thing that stood out to me in particular was that Oswego dominated the second period. And that's a period that they've struggled with throughout the year at times, where it's kind of the other way around. In this game, they outshot Morrisville 21-3. You go back to February and January before they went on this now 7-game winning streak, where they were just not getting it done in the second. That was really their downfall. But really a great job by this team in the second period. They didn't play a great third period, but Morrisville came out firing. But at the end of the day, great accomplishment for them to get this win. Like you said, first New HL playoff game at home. Great accomplishment.
Well, it was a pretty clean game as well. They only took 3 penalties there, but they didn't play a full 60 minutes, and that's going to be an issue, just like the men's hockey team. They don't play a full 60 minutes. It's that third period that they both struggle in, and they're going to have to fix that before they go to Plattsburgh.
Absolutely. Now moving to the hardwood, as it was a tough ending to the 2019-2020 season for the men's basketball team. The Lakers traveled to Brockport to face the one-seeded Golden Eagles in the SUNYAC semifinal and fell 82-67. With the loss, the Lakers were officially unable to defend their SUNYAC title and will end the season with a 19-8 record. So, Mike, looking at the season as a whole now, what do you think about their year?
Well, not too shabby. 19-8. That's not bad at all. They finished 4th in the SUNYAC, 12-6, and they had a couple great players that were incredible down the stretch. Joe Sullivan, Brandon Gartland, and freshman Jeremiah Sparks, as you can see right there, 4th in the SUNYAC. But they averaged just over 75 points a game, but unfortunately, to their downfall, they lost to Brockport in the SUNYAC semifinal. So Brockport got that revenge from last year in the SUNYAC championship. The Lakers beat Brockport last year in the SUNYAC championship, and now Brockport got that revenge.
Yeah, well, like you said, Brockport, a really good team, and ultimately there's no shame in losing to this team. They went on to win the SUNYAC. They're 23rd in the nation. They're hosting the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament, just like Oswego did last year, so no shame in losing to that team, but ultimately a decent season. Not ideal. They wanted to defend their title, but the loss of Tyler Pierre, I think, a little bigger than we originally thought it was going to be. But there are some things to take away. Freshman Jeremiah Sparks named to the third team All-SUNYAC today. 13.1 points per game. He's the only freshman in the entire conference to be named to an all-conference team, so that's a big accomplishment. Freshman Jamal Achille getting a lot of meaningful minutes, especially down the stretch. He led the team with 19 points in that game against Brockport. So obviously a great, not a great season, but a decent one, something that they can build on towards the future. Liam Sanborn, key piece, going to be coming back next year.
Well, he's going to be a senior next year, but we will step aside. When we come back, we will dive into the busy week ahead for Oswego State Athletics and share our thoughts on who is hot and who is not. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10. Welcome back to Laker Connections here on WTOP 10. I am Michael Gross, and he is Brian Rudman. And Brian, why don't you give us a look at the week ahead in Oswego sports?
Absolutely. Mike and I will take a look at the biggest matchups in the upcoming week for the Lakers and give you our thoughts on what it's going to take for Oswego to come out on top. Mike, let's start in the new HL.
Yeah, well, the Oswego State women's hockey team will go on the road up to North Country this weekend to take on Plattsburgh in the new HL game. And in the championship game, the Cardinals are the #1 team in the country and are playing their best brand of hockey as of late, being winners of 17 straight games. Plattsburgh has swept the regular season series against the Lakers, winning all 3 by a combined score of 13-2. So, Brian, this then poses the question, with Plattsburgh playing an almost perfect brand of hockey, how can the Lakers pull off a miracle?
Well, to me, it's going to take 2 things, really. First off, Rachel Farmer in goal has to have the game of her life. She, so far this year, has been phenomenal. She's the only goalie on the roster for this Lakers team. Comes in with a .205 goals against average, a .916 save percentage. She has the talent. She's shown us that. Now it's got to happen. And then the Lakers, they need to strike first. You look at this team, they're really good when they can get ahead. 10, 2, and 3 when they score first. You take a look at them scoring first, but ultimately this team knows how to play with the lead, and that's what they have to do. When you go down to a team like Plattsburgh, that's when you get in trouble. That's when you have to get out of your game, and that's when you really start seeing problems from this Lakers team.
Well, yeah, but it also starts through the underclassmen play and the freshman play of Meg Teachout. She's the new HL Rookie of the Year, and she was outstanding this season, and she really carried this Lakers team, scoring from all ends. She knew how to handle the puck and handle the stick there, too.
Absolutely. This Lakers team is led by that freshman, but ultimately, you also got to look at the other side of things. You saw the 1 goal that came this week from senior Aaron Stewart. You see Kate Randazzo, the captain of the team, she's got to lead. They have to grind this game out, and if they're going to win, it has to come from seniors, because you talk about seniors, you talk about Rachel Farmer, potentially her last game, she's got to come up huge for this team. Now, to the diamond, as the Oswego State baseball team will play 3 this weekend down in Pennsylvania. The Lakers will play at Arcadia University, opening things up on Saturday against Salve Regina before facing the hosts in a doubleheader on Sunday. So, Mike, going into this weekend, what should we be looking for from the Lakers?
Well, it's got to start with the pitching. They have been all right on the mound, but also their team ERA is up over 4.4. That's not good early on in the season. They've allowed 8 home runs, and their strikeout per 9 innings is 7.8. That's good. Their strikeout rate is good, but they have to bring that ERA down, and those home runs, you can't allow that many.
No, they've really been bitten by the long ball through their first 6 so far, and that's something that can't happen because you look at this team. Yeah, they're out of conference right now, but when you get back into conference play, it's Cortland. They're ranked in the nation. They come into the season number 1 in the preseason poll in the SUNYAC, and despite their 4-5 start out of conference, they're going to be right there. If the Lakers hope to defend their 2-time SUNYAC championship, it's got to start with that. And then you look at this team, it's getting on base. That's a big key for this team. Any team, really, but particularly for this Lakers squad.
Yeah, and they're batting just under 330, and their OPS is just under 1,000. That's incredible. Last year, it was around that same mark, but a little bit less. And if they can keep getting on base, their pitching can back them up. You know, with good pitching comes run support, and all they need to do is hit well and get that run support.
Yeah, pitching and defense wins championships, and if this team hopes to do this, that's where it's going to come from.
Well, as we step aside from the diamond, we'll go to the lacrosse field with Bobby Emerson graduating and now out of the picture. The Oswego State men's lacrosse team began their 2020 campaign on a high note with 2 wins, neither of them coming in any sort of commanding fashion. They will play Morrisville on Saturday, whom they have beaten in their last 3 meetings. But Brian, will Coach Drew Bezek and the Oswego State men's lacrosse team be able to keep up their winning ways this weekend?
Well, I certainly think so. I think at least with Morrisville to start, you take a look at how they compare. Oswego's certainly gotten off to a better start than Morrisville has. Oswego 2-0. Morrisville 0-1. They also play Clarkson coming up within the next week. Clarkson's a different story. They're a really good team. But you look at how this Oswego team's played, a lot of freshmen on this roster, but they're 2-0. They're getting outshot by a lot, 90-66 through the first 2 games. That's something that's got to change. But you take a look how Oswego compares to these 2 teams, and it's really a tale of 2 teams. Oswego much better than Morrisville through those first couple games. But Clarkson, right there, they're scoring a lot of goals. That's going to be a danger.
Yeah, it's going to be a danger, especially when you don't have Bobby Emerson. Kyle Bacon was a guy that really stepped up so far in these first 2 games of the season. He scored 4 goals already, and will he be able to take on that scoring role of Bobby Emerson? Well, we'll see.
He's certainly going to have to. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, it's men's hockey time as the Lakers will look to capture the SUNYAC title. You're watching Laker Connections right here on WTOP 10. And welcome back to Laker Connections. It's the moment the Lakers fans have waited for over a year. This Saturday, the men's hockey team will get their shot at redemption in the SUNYAC title game against Geneseo, the team who beat them in the very same game 4-3 last season. So Mike, let's really dive into this one. Despite having an up-and-down season, the Lakers have looked strong as of late. They've won 5 in a row. What have their strengths been?
Well, it's really been their depth in scoring. It's not all Zizek, Broman, and Passero, most of the upperclassmen. In the Morrisville game earlier this season, 7 different Lakers scored, and that's coming from all 4 lines and the 3 defensive lines, and it's even coming from that extra skater spot as well. Tyson Kirkby getting a couple goals in there, Derek Brown in that extra skater spot as well, and it's going to come down to their ability to score through depth, and depth all over the ice.
Yeah, and when you look at what this team really does well, it's when they get the odd man rush going. You see, as you can see on the score, when they get the puck out in front of the goalie, they make him move post to post. That's when they're really dangerous. And when they have to set up in the offensive zone, get it behind the net, make the goalie move around, make him work. Don't let him get comfortable. You know this Geneseo team is going to score, so Oswego needs to score with them. And when they're at their best, they're scoring a lot. And also, got to rely on Steven Kozakowski. He's been a huge strength, lit this team up. He's got to come up huge this week.
In honor of Aaron not being here tonight, the Wizard of Koz. But
Absolutely.
Oswego coming into the SUNYAC final with momentum. But Geneseo is still one of the best teams in the country and has their own set of strength as number 2 in the country. Now, Brian, what does the second best team in the country and the best team in the SUNYAC do best?
Well, you look at this team, and it's really that 3-headed monster of Empey, Morano, and Keenan. 134 points combined. You saw what they did to Potsdam in that SUNYAC semifinal, 7-0. No shot for the Bears in that one. They're lethal on the power play, 33.3%. That's 1 for 3. And this Laker team goes on the penalty kill a lot. So that's big trouble for the Lakers if you're looking at that. And they're able to wear teams down. You see them scoring bunches. When they came to MCC, they got out to an early lead. They gave it up, but then they got it right back, scored 2 goals in the last 2 minutes. They're just a really good team. They're super fast, a lot different from the Plattsburgh team we saw last week. a big challenge for the Lakers.
Well, you talk about their penalty or their power play. Their penalty kill is 87.5%. That's good for 13th in the country. And all they do is skate. They can skate and skate and skate and never stop. That's why they're so much better than Oswego, because they do not stop playing a full 60 minutes.
Absolutely. Now moving on to how these teams have looked against each other so far this season. They faced off twice, and it was the Knights getting the better of the Lakers on both occasions. So Mike, going into this one, what do the Lakers need to do to turn the tide?
Well, in their last two matchups, the Knights have pretty much outscored the Lakers 14-4. However, with no penalties, could it only really be 6-2?
Well, yeah, but no penalties is a dream world for the Lakers at this point.
Especially when you had 88 penalty minutes back in Geneseo in the 9-1 routing. And then here, the penalty down the stretch, with Carson Vance pretty much bumped into, or so you thought he bumped into, the defender there for Geneseo. And, well, that was the penalty. But, yeah, the Lakers weren't just dreaming back down in Geneseo. It was a 9-1 blowout, the 9-1 routing. And that's what Geneseo did to the Lakers. And they really went on a skid after that.
Yeah, but then you look at the last time they played in MCC, 5-3. Kazakowski was great in net for the Lakers, so they really got to capture what they got in that last one.
And the Lakers haven't looked 100% in the last few weeks, but in order to win this weekend, who needs to step up?
Well, I'm going to start it off. I got Jody Sullivan. He's a captain on this team, a leader, a senior, and he just hasn't been producing that much this year. You look at him, just 6 goals, 6 assists. This is a guy who needs to step up. You look at Zizek, Carter Allen, Anthony Pissarro leading this team. Jody Sullivan's the only captain that we haven't really seen do that this year. He's got to step up, make a statement in this game, and lead his boys to the win.
Well, as you said, Jody Sullivan's a captain, but as a junior, my player to step up is Carson Vance. He could be a captain next year. He's got a lot of production. It's 15 points. He's got 4 goals and 11 assists, and he's one of the fastest defensemen in the entire country. Forget about the SUNYAC. And he can skate with Geneseo all game long, but he's going to have to be able to come back from that neutral zone, get into the offensive zone, and take shots from the blue line. Hopefully he can score.
Absolutely. The D1 transfer's got to step up. We're going to take a quick break, but after the break, our moderator Brandon Ladd will join us at the table for Laker Showdown. Stay right here on WTOP 10. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Laker Connections on WTOP 10. I am your moderator, Brandon Ladd. It is time for the most exciting part of the show, Laker Showdown. The rules of Laker Showdown are simple. I'm going to ask the guys 3 questions. They each have 90 seconds to debate each question. Best argument wins a point. Most points at the end of the 3 questions wins. Ready, boys?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Moving on to the first question here. The Oswego men's basketball season ended at the hands of Brockport this past week in the semifinals of the SUNYAC playoffs. The team featured 4 double-digit scorers this season. With that said, who was the most valuable player on the 2019-20 Oswego State men's basketball team?
Well, I'm going to go first. It's Gartland for MVP.
Ooh.
13.1 points per game. He shot 43.6% from the field, 40.7% from behind the arc, and he shot a whopping 82.7% from the free throw line. That's what you need from your MVP, from your senior, who should have been the senior captain, I believe he was, and that's who you need.
You want to talk about seniors on this team? You look at Joe Sullivan. What are you talking about? First team all SUNYAC? Are you kidding me? Led the team in points. 3rd in the SUNYAC in rebounds, led the team in rebounds, shot 45.6%, so that's better than Gartland right there. Outscored Gartland, had more assists than Gartland per game, had more rebounds than Gartland, did everything better than Gartland. He was huge inside, except shoot the 3. Listen,
I'll give it to you. Joe Sullivan was a force to be reckoned with inside. That's why we called him General Joe. But Brandon Gartland, when crunch time came, he was always the one with the ball in his hands after Liam Sanborn would dish to him. He's the one who took those 3s, and he was the one who made those big shots down the stretch. And not to mention the efficiency from the free throw line.
But you talk
Nobody was as efficient.
Yeah, but you
from the
talk
free throw
about
line.
where this team's strength is. It's when they score inside, and that starts with Joe Sullivan. Garland was just out on the perimeter. Sullivan could do it all. He would shoot the 3 when he had his chance, but he was huge
Mike,
inside,
last point here.
rebounds, all over the place. He was huge. First team all SUNYAC, no doubt in my mind. Captain, led the team in
Not
points.
going to get a last point.
I think he's the winner.
I got to give the point to Gross here. He should have gotten his last point in. and he is one of the leaders of the team. Moving on to the second
Thank you.
question here. Kevin O'Donnell was a brick wall for the Oswego men's lacrosse team last season, posting the best save percentage in the whole entire SUNYAC. He's off to a great start again this season with a save percentage of 63% in the first 2 games. Is he going to repeat as the best goalie in the SUNYAC again this year?
Well, I'm going to start it off. I think so. And you took one of my points there, lad, when you said that he had 63% save percentage early, but I don't see why not. He's a great goalie, and you look at this team, he led the SUNYAC in save percentage. Like you said, he racked up a ton of saves, allowed less than 10 goals per game, and you look at this guy, you think of consistency. SUNYAC Rookie of the Year his freshman season, and then put those numbers up last year in his sophomore year. Coming into his junior year, he's a leader on the team. You look at him, you look at his numbers, once again, staying consistent, and this is a young team, so you see how he's going to play. He'll face more shots on average, but that's a good thing for his stats, because he's going to come up with that big save percentage.
No, you see, the wall will crumble a bit. I guarantee you the wall will crumble a bit. Listen, Kevin O'Donnell, a great goaltender there for lacrosse, and all props to him, but I have to tell you, it will crumble a bit. If we can get the graphic back up of Kevin O'Donnell, his save percentage there, 58.9%, that's outstanding. And it's not going to last the entire season. There he had just under 10 goals a game. With a team like Clarkson that they're going to play, that's going to be the real test, and I don't think he's going to be able to take the team like Clarkson. And there's a lot of teams in the SUNYAC like Clarkson that can score in bunches.
Yeah, but you want to talk about other teams who they're going to play? They're playing Morrisville, who scored 2 goals in their first game. So I think you got to take that with a grain of salt. I think his talent and his skill is phenomenal.
But then what happens? But then what happens when Morrisville goes and scores 7-8 goals on him?
How do you know that's going to happen? He's a great goalie. I think he's going to stand tall.
And the points got to go to Brian here. He got it done his freshman year, his sophomore year. You got to believe he's going to get it done his junior year. Moving on to our last question here. The Oswego baseball team took a big hit with the graduation of Mike Delicari this past year. Delicari was second on the team in runs batted in with 39 in 2019. Guys, that's a lot of production missing now. Who can step up and fill the void left by the loss of Delicari?
I'm going to go first. Rightfully so, because it's Lucas Olson. Lucas Olson already batting .429 this year through those 6 games. .329 batted last season. He slugged .762 already this year, and .529. His OPS up close to 1,000 already. It's already above 1,000 this year at 1.22. And last year, it was .971. He's the best catcher that this team has had in years. He is the leader of this team. I talked to Kieran Finnegan. Kieran Finnegan has his splitter, and Lucas Olson is doing so well with him and changing that up and getting that so good.
Yeah, but okay, right there, you were talking about defensively. We're talking about filling the void offensively, first of all. Second of all, Tamaro, my guy, Paul Tamaro, .467. You want to talk about average, leading the team in that category. And you talk about Delicari, he's a guy that gets on base. He was huge, batted above 300 all 4 years that he was here. Once again, looking at both guys above OPS, over 1,000. Slugging percentage, Tamaro's not going to do that a whole lot, but neither did Delicari. So when you look about filling his role, you're talking about a guy that's going to get on base. Last year at the end of the season, I talked to Coach Landers for the Oswegonian. He's talking about getting on base. This is the guy. Tamaro's the guy that's going to get on base and set the table for this entire Oswego State team.
Lucas Olson, period.
I got to disagree. I think Tamaro's the guy to lead the
Olson.
way for this Oswego State team. Like I said, you're looking to fill in a guy that gets on base and leads the way. Tamaro's your guy.
Brian, it's about slugging percentage, though. We got to give the point to Gross here. Gross is our winner special guest host this week.
All right, that's going to do it. Congratulations, Mike. Thank you for watching, and have a great night. Be sure to tune in again next week.